Hello everyone. As promised, I made a video on making buckskin and brain tanning. I promised the group to make a video about this, and so here we are today. I've tried several times to make this video, and my video editor's just being stupid, so I keep having to cut down the time on it and everything. So basically I'm going to do this in segments because it was done over a few days. So I'm going to kind of cut out all the hoorah and everything that I talked about before. Basically this video is just going to show you step by step with very short discussion about each process in brain tanning. I'm going to say a couple of things about it. First of all, hides are made up of microfibers, sort of like fiberglass, held together by a natural biological glue. At no time in this process do you need to get any real bad heat to it or anything. When you do the brain solution, you want warm water, about like you take a warm bath or put a baby in or something. Not hot, not cold. Hot destroys the glue, breaks it down, and eventually, after that, your hide will just come apart if you damage it too much. If you do it right, you wind up with something like this. That is, it's soft, pliable, supple, nice, golden tan color, and something that you can be proud of. Now, first process is getting it into the frame. The first couple of segments I'm going to show you is preparing the hide for the frame, putting the holes around it. There's other methods of doing this. We can discuss that in the comments. It's too much. It makes the video too long. I can't edit it. So we'll discuss that later. And putting it in the frame and getting it stretched. That's the first segment. So let's go ahead and check that out.
You're gonna be cutting that off later anyway, or I do. So hole about that size there that you can get your pinky in. Really, all you need. If I had a punch that I'd made, but I hadn't made it yet, I could have just used that instead of my knife, but make them big enough though so when you are stringing it up you can kind of find it. So I like to get my first finger through it like that. Oh, don't worry, you're gonna get to do the other side. This is school time. I'm just showing you and everybody else what to do. I've done 100 of them or better.
Fine with me.
Go all the way around it. I mean, you got your salt and blood on there, but ain't nothing to it. Heck, it's just salt and blood. You're gonna wash your hands later anyway. Get you, good enough size hole that you can find it. One's right there, so you ain't gotta really make it too big. Go as close out to that edge of the hide that you can without making it just too thin. About 1/4 of an inch in. Trust me, it's not gonna rip. Some spots you may have to have you hole a little closer together. Some areas you may be able to kind of go about 6 inches or so apart when you string it back, but most of the time I do mine about 3 inches apart. That way, you got real good stink bug stretching on your hide. That's the main part about getting it clean and making it soft is really keeping that sucker stretched tight through this process here. See, all that's got to come off. You know what I'm saying? But you can still make a hole through that in your hide too. Oh, that's all right. Go ahead and that's good. Now go around the middle of that right there, yeah.
That's one good thing. At least I got fingernails.
It ain't just no breeze, is it?
No, it ain't hard neither.
No, it ain't. It ain't really just hard, but it ain't just.
It ain't a walk in the park. I'll promise
Now
you that.
go around that. Yeah, I'd do that anyway. Just kind of clear it where you're working at the moment. Just clean it off as much as you can with your hands and scrape the rest of it off and start working on getting some of the meat that you can get without messing up your hide. That's why I like to skin my hides out instead of pulling them off. If you're going to tan a hide, you don't want to pull it off. Don't do it fast. Take your time and work on it. You'll have a better hide in the end.
It's kind of like shaving your face in a way.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, you shave your face, you don't want to take it all the way to the bone.
Hell no. It hurts.
But you want to get it baby smooth. You don't want to leave no stubble. That's pretty much what this is. Fat and meat stubble. That's just leave that stuff alone. You see that meat right there? All that. Start grabbing it and pulling it up and cutting right in behind it. You know, just some of it, see, it'll pull off real easy like that. Some of it won't. You might have to give it a little help from the knife, you know. Just like you're trying to slit it open like that.
Like you're trying to cut a scab off.
That's it. As long as you don't point your edge of your knife down towards that hide, it's not gonna cut a hole in it. It'll come on off, pull it off like that. Grab you another chunk and do some more. Okay, once you have it in the frame, stretched tight, being careful not to rip through the holes. the next thing you want to do is start removing any meat or fat or anything that you can get off the hide without ripping it, cutting into it, or whatever. If it's difficult to come off, and it's not really thick, it's not, anything that's going to hinder the drying process, you can leave it on there and scrape it off as you scrape the flesh side. That will be the next process, is defleshing. The way I do it, I don't use a fleshing pole. I just put it in a frame and let it dry and begin scraping. So let's take a look at that process and see what it's like. Right here though, when you're scraping the meat side, it's gonna flake off just like dandruff. I mean, when you're up here on this, you'll sort of take big swaths of it out like you do on the hair, but as you can see, all this little flaky stuff here, that is just that membrane that holds the muscle to the skin, or the skin to the muscle, however you want to say it, coming off. And all it's got to come off, because what it does is act like a plastic sheet when you're trying to brain this. Of course, like I said, sandpaper will take a lot of it off, but when you're trying to get the brain in on this, if all that isn't gone, if there's any of it present, that spot will not want to soak up any of the brain. And so what you wind up with is, once you get your hide tanned and smoked and turned into clothes or whatever, and you wind up getting it wet, you have a hard spot there that you've got to go back and rework. That is what I was talking about when I said a score. That is where I was dehairing, and the scraper wanted to slip and slide this way. It caught that hole and then went over. There's another one. You have to be real careful of spots like that. they will wear through when you're sanding. Take your time, be gentle around those, then they'll basically. Okay, now that you have that done, what we're going to do next is dehairing the hide. There's an easy way to do this and a harder way to do this. I do it the harder way. The easy way is to make a lye solution out of hardwood white ash. Once you build your fire and let your wood burn down into just ash, you know how the next morning you wake up or whatever and you pretty much got a bunch of just white ash. You want to take a couple of cups of that, try to get out any charcoal or whatever. You just want the ash, and mix it with up in a 5-gallon bucket full of water, and put your hide in there, cover it up or whatever. Check it every day. You know, grab a little bit of the hair, and if it comes off easy, it's ready. Put it back in the drying frame and re-stretch it, and it will pretty much, you know, you can just almost rub it off with your hand. So, but the method I use, I let it dry just like I do the fleshing side, and dry scrape it. It works just as well for me. It may not work for you, but it does work for me. So let's check this segment out on dehairing the hide. Now I'm recording. Big boom boom.
It tastes good, don't it?
Alright, so here we are with most of the hair off the hide. I'm going to step back and let you see the stretching frame, how I built it this time. I used the tree limb as a sort of a stabilizer, and just tied poles to the limb and barely stuck them in the ground, and put me a cross member down at the bottom for the bottom lines to go around. I was going to show you, when you scrape this, you want to put your scraper up in there. You don't want to go like this at all. You will cut the hide. You don't want to go like this at all. So you want to place that scraper at a 90-degree angle, straight with the hide, right above where you're going to scrape. Push in, not real hard, but hard enough that when you come down, you take a strip of that hair off. In the late summertime, this is not so hard to remove, but in the wintertime, when their coat is thick, it is the devil trying to get off of here. But as you can see, you can take long streaks like that and, you know, get a good swipe and just take some out. And I am putting a pretty good amount of force into it. I'd say probably about 5 pounds worth of pressure into that, and then just scraping straight down. You see my scraper here, bottom of one of my knives that I made, I cut off. I utilize everything I can, so you can see how it's beveled from the top down. The bottom is flat. That causes a sharp scraping surface, but not enough that it cuts like a knife would. If you took a knife and tried to shave this off, you would have tons, and I do mean tons, of scores in this hide. And the least little bit of sanding you do, you wind up with a hole like this, which I accidentally ripped into the hide. But the thing about it is, I'm gonna come right down that and basically cut this out, you know, around there like that. I'm not gonna have any of this at all in the hide, simply because the main fact is I did not skin this deer. Someone pulled the hide off of it, but that's okay. They didn't know any better, so, and I didn't tell them. But I told them the next time I wanted to skin it instead of them pulling the hair off, and they agreed to let me. So, anyway, I just wanted to kind of explain the dehairing part. You want to get as much of these little spots like this off as you can. If it won't come off after 2 or 3 good hard scrapes like that, leave it, because you're going to come back and use some sandpaper and sand that anyway, and it will come off then. Okay, so I got as much hair off of the hide as I want to, except for that little spot, and I'll take care of that on the ground. But anyway, next thing you want to do is this is I think, yeah, 180 grit wet dry sandpaper, and these little spots like this, you just want to kind of, without much pressure at all, kind of go over them. Sand out those dark spots, because that is remnants of that membrane and hair. So you just kind of want to go over it, and kind of be careful too, especially like around spots like this. You don't want to put much pressure at all. Really don't want to spend a whole lot of time around that, because sanding it's just going to open it up. But you know, get around it and kind of go through there. If it's a real dark spot like that, you know, kind of put a little pressure on it until it goes away or blends in with the hide. It really doesn't make a difference at this point, other than making the hide look better. Them little spots, I don't know if you can quite see them, but there's little spots like this. There you go. And that, those are hairs left behind, and if you sand it, enough they will go away. Now, like I said, I'm not that worried about it because of the fact that I don't care how the hide looks as long as it's waterproof and pliable. I want it to work. That's my main concern. Come back over here on the flesh side and we're just gonna kind of rough that up just a little bit. See, I told you that would kind of come out a little bit with the sanding. So spots like this, you want to kind of be careful on, but sand them good. Phew. Going back in my face. Basically, you're just wanting to take some of that flaky junk, all that that's flying off. You want to take that off as fairly well as you can. I mean, it doesn't have to be perfect. You're gonna have a little bit still stuck, even if you sanded plumb through the hide. Spots like this, where I'm gonna cut across here like this, they still look like they still got some of that membrane, that sandpaper. We'll take that off and whiten that up and rough it up a little bit so that it doesn't have that membrane there to prevent this from soaking up more of the frame in that area. If you don't get that membrane off, like I said before, it's going to just pretty much be stiff if it ever gets wet there, because it didn't soak up any brain. As you can see, it's looking a lot better. So once you got that entire hide sanded down on both sides like that, you can go ahead and cut your hide out of the frame and get ready for your next step, which is brain tanning, or applying the brain. These little spots like this, I'm just gonna cut them out. I'm just gonna go across here, come up around these things like this, and just get what I can out of it. Like I said, I'm gonna use all this stuff like that for cordage and hide glue. But once you very generously but lightly sanded both sides of that, for my way of doing it anyway, you can go ahead and cut it out. Like I said, cut it out of the frame, and which is what I'm fixing to do next. And you can roll it up, put it away for months and months and months, getting it ready for brain. It doesn't have to be done right then and there. That's raw hide that will last indefinitely, just like that. So my next step is I'm gonna cut this out of the frame, and it'll probably be tomorrow before I can actually do the brain tan, because Daniel is away and I am teaching him how to do this. Maybe next year I'll get to do another video with a hide that I actually got to skin out and prepare the way I want to, and we'll have a little bit better of a looking hide. Like I said, this is for educational purposes, really. I'm not doing this to sell it, or really, I might make something out of it. I'll probably wait until I get some more hides up, because that's really not going to be very much. So but anyway, my next step is to cut that out, get ready for the brain, and we'll pick that up in the next segment. This is the hair from this deer hide, and I was wanting to show you how, when it comes off, how it looks. But it's not wanting to focus in for me now for some reason. But let's get over here where it's not quite so bright. Maybe it'll focus. Focus in. Well, it's wanting to be sort of testy today. If I could get it to focus in, you could really see. Let's see if I can, maybe, there we go. Well, you can see how when it comes off with a layer of membrane. There we go. A little better anyway. Deer hair is hollow, and that's why I don't really like leaving deer hair on a hide, because sooner or later it's going to break off. But anyway, when you're dehairing the hide, making buckskin, when you get good strips of that hair coming off, that's what it's going to look like. That's what it should look like. So, you know, if you're taking it off and it's that thin and it looks like that, you're doing right. Okay, now that the flesh side and the hair side has been scraped and both are clean, what you have is rawhide. You can use it just like any other rawhide for anything, from drum covers to moccasin soles, cordage for bowstrings or whatever. You can cut it up into pieces and boil it down for hide glue. It will keep indefinitely like this. We're going to take it a little bit further and tan this hide, and using the brain, we are going to basically saturate this hide with the oils that are in the brain, and this will ensure that for the life of the hide it remains soft. If it gets wet, you may have to let's see if I can set this up for just a second so you can see what I mean. Once it's done, if it gets wet, it might get a little stiff or whatever, rough. You just take it and do it like that, and it's right back to the buckskin. So let's take a look at preparing the brain solution, applying the brain solution, and then we'll look at stretching and softening the hide, which I do different than most people. Instead of putting it back in the frame and applying the brain and using a paddle or something like that to stretch and soften it in the frame, I eliminate that process with the frame, and I just take it and wring it out as much as I can after I apply the brain solution. I do that with a liquid that I bust up the brains if it's thawed out. I mash it up real good with my hands and boil it. Boil it real slow for about 30-45 minutes. Allow it to cool down to where I can hold my hand in it without it burning me. And then I submerge the hide into that, let it soak it up, wring it out, and repeat until it no longer will accept any of the brain, or until there's none left in the pot. And then I wrap it around that rope and grab it with both hands on either side of the rope and pull back, and in a sawing motion, pull it back and forth across that rope, stretching it, softening it, and drying it all at the same time. And I find this method to be a little bit easier than putting it back in the frame and taking all that time. And anyway, so let's take a look at that, and let's see how that process goes. Let's record. Go ahead. What we're doing here is we boiled the brain a little bit, and now we're just mashing up all this brain matter, and then we're going to boil it a little bit longer, and then we're going to strain it through a t-shirt. I would do it through cheesecloth. Sometimes I don't even strain it if it'll break up good enough, but this one here wanting to clog up. It ain't wanting to break up as good as some have. Fresher brains do it better, and this one was sort of frozen when I started, so I'm having to mash it up by hand. But you see how it's just gray and soupy like down in there. That's what you want. That's all the brain oils that's going to go into the hide. And we got the hide right here. It's ready for when the brain tanning is done. And then we got this here. We dug a pit, and this is where we're going to have our punk wood fire. I'm going to dig it out a little bit more, and then this trench is going to go up through here where I'm removing the sod all the way up to where those two cane poles are, and there's going to be another hole in which we're going to stand this teepee frame up. The hide's too small to wrap around one, so I'm going to hang this one inside of this from here. Put a small hole in it and hang it up in there. Put a couple more cane poles around this, and wrap a tarp around it to keep my smoke up. That smoke will come up to right here from down there. It'll travel uphill. One reason it's so long of a way, you don't want hot smoke getting to the hide. You want it to be warm to cool smoke. Hot smoke will destroy the fibers in the hide, so getting any kind of heat to it will. So you want to make a pretty good distance. Just a slight incline like this, you can kind of see it's not really that steep, but it's steep enough that that smoke will travel uphill. So we're going to get that done, and then we'll start braining and stretching and softening the hide, and hopefully, maybe, I'll get to smoke it today. May end up doing it tonight, and have the video on there for y'all tomorrow. So here in a minute we'll be back with another segment. This first time that it soaks up that brain after you dry it, it's going to be a little stiff for a little bit. That's why I usually let it just soak in there for a few minutes. May have to warm that brain back up. That's good. Anyway, just, you know, gonna get it till it's just like a dish rag, you know what I'm saying? It's done soaked all that up and everything. It's still a little stiff right there, but like I said, hell, we're gonna wring this sucker out and do it about 5, 6, 7 times before it's over with. All right, bring that stick over here. Come here, baby. Film us for a second. Just kind of stay right there. And
You want to come over here and video this too?
what we're gonna do is take this song on and wrap it around this rope. Be a hell of a lot easier if there was a little bit thicker of a hide, but it's not. So just twist. Gonna have to hold this one as you twist. Because if it's a bigger hide, it would really wrap around itself 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times. Much of that drain down in there as you can. Just keep twisting it. Once you get it hung out pretty good, take it loose and put it back in there again. And again and again and again. Until we come up with some clear liquid in there, or not. Your turn. Alright, you stop it now. The next thing we're gonna do is take it and pull it around this rope like this. And we just keep going around the hide and going around the hide, pulling and stretching and rubbing until it's dry. That'll bring us to the last stage, which is smoking it, which you see I've already got the setup going on over there. Got smoke coming up through my trench, and when I cover it with that tarp, that hide will be hanging on the inside. That smoke will be just filling that up in there and smoking that hide, which I'll probably smoke it till about 7 or 8 o'clock tonight, 9 o'clock, and then it'll be done. But what do you think about it so far, Daniel? You like tanning hides?
It ain't bad. It's better than having a
I tell you what, I love wearing deer hides. That shit feels good. I get me about 7, 8 deer hides up next season. We'll really have us a good time.
We're gonna have some arthritis too.
Nah, it ain't that bad. But this way here, I don't have to put it back in a frame and stretch it with a paddle or anything like that. This does the softening and the stretching all in one technique. And all I did was just tied my rope to the trunk of the tree, tied it to the limb up there. And that's what I used to wring it out when we was doing the brain tan and doing this right here, which is stretching it and softening it and drying it all at the same time. Alright, well, here in a minute we'll get to the last technique, which is smoking, and we'll bring you another segment here in a minute. Okay, now our next step is going to be smoking the hide. Whatever method you use, it does not matter. Again, like with the brain solution, you don't want cold smoke. It won't penetrate the hide. You don't want hot smoke. It's going to destroy the glue. You want warm smoke. So what I did was I dug about a 15-foot trench uphill, put a pit at both ends. I built a fire in the bottom pit and used damp punky wood on top of a coal bed to create the smoke. It travels up the trench and comes out into a makeshift smokehouse that I made. I hung the hide in that and smoked it that way for about 48 hours. I'm going to smoke it about another 12 to 18 hours, and it'll be a little bit darker than what it is right now. But as it is right now, this is a usable, workable piece of buckskin, and suitable to make a loincloth for a baby. I mean, it's that soft. So I really don't have to do anything else to it other than what I've done, but I want to make it a little bit darker. I don't feel like I have got a good enough penetration of smoke just yet, but I wanted to go ahead and show it to you, and it is finished, and it is usable and wearable. So I went ahead and did the video for you. So let's take a look at this last segment on smoking the hide, and then I'll finish up the video. Okay, so here we are at the last step, smoking the hide. As you can see, my smoke is just coming out of there big time. And instead of wrapping the hide, since it was so small, instead of wrapping it around the teepee, I just made a teepee big enough to you know, hang the hide in like that and just let it smoke it. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna close this up so that as much smoke stays in there as possible. I got a couple of holes and rips in it, but it'll be okay. I'm gonna have a little bit of smoke escape. You want to try to make it where you don't have as much coming out as possible. Just kind of cover it up like that and try to close up the holes as best you can. And that's gonna pretty much just sit there and smoke for a while. I guess I'll probably smoke it for probably about 2-3 hours. And what I'm doing here, I got my trench built up the hill. My board keeps catching on fire here with my punky wood, and you can see I've got this thing here. I want to get my fire going kind of good, but I don't want a lot of heat going up through there. I just want that punky wood to get me some good coals in there. Once it does, I'll just throw a little bit on it at a time. And you can see I went to the woods and got me some punky wood. This is hickory. It smolders and makes good smoke. So basically we're just gonna let this go like this for 3 or 4 hours. Just keep putting punky wood on it and sending that smoke up the hill. And I try to kind of block off my smoke as much as I possibly can. That will cause it to go back up the hill there to the teepee. And just every now and then I'll come out here and kind of peek in on it and, you know, make sure you're still getting good smoke. As long as you got smoke coming out, that's good. And you can see some smoke coming up out of the ground in spots where it's seeping through. Just kind of try to keep that down as much as possible. The more smoke you have coming up through the ground along the way, the less is getting up to the teepee. Anyway, in about 3 hours we'll have our buckskin, and still got pretty good smoke coming out of there, so we're just going to let her smoke and keep adding punky wood to that for about 3 or 4 hours. So whenever it's done, I will complete the video and put it on YouTube for you guys. I'm really hoping to get some more hides this winter and be able to skin them myself, and then I'll be able to put them in a frame or whatever and dry them like I want to, and maybe these will work out a little bit better and we'll have a little bit bigger hides. But like I said, basically this hide was given to me. It was a roadkill. There was a lot of trauma. They pulled the hide off instead of skinning it, so a lot of things came into difficulty on this hide, but I salvaged 2/3 of it to be able to show you how to brain tan some buckskin. And once this is through smoking, it will be waterproof. If it gets wet, it won't shrink. You may have to do a little bit of pulling while it dries, but it should wind up being just as soft and supple as it is right now. It's soft as a baby's blanket at the moment. So we have pulled it around this rope until we're just about dead, but it was dry. So, and this here, I use this, as you can see, to get around the edges real good and soften the edges up. And you just kind of lay it across that wedge there and pull it back and forth, back and forth, back and forth till you get the edges done, and then you hang it up and smoke it. So anyway, I should have the video up maybe by tomorrow, and hope you guys have enjoyed this. I really have enjoyed doing it for you, and we'll see you here at the end of the segment. Thank you. Okay guys, here's the thing with the smoking pit. As you see, I guess, try set your fire kind of up in there, get your coals going good in the pit here, and then move your stuff up there. And if you can see how that trench is pulling that smoke up through there, and you see we got good smoke coming out of the top up there. You don't want no big fire because you don't want that smoke to be real hot when it goes up through there. And once that dies down into coals, then we'll throw some more punky wet rotted wood on it. I'm using hickory. I started to use pine, but I didn't think that would be a good idea, thinking that the resin from the smoke would dry on the hide and make it hard. I ain't never used pine, so I've either used hickory or dogwood or something like that, with a less resin as possible. But we're just gonna pretty much let that smoke all day today, and I'm gonna try to keep this going down here with either some wood shavings from this, kindling I got, or punky wet rotted wood. So finally getting to work on it today while I'm cutting my yard. And this should be the last segment. Once it's finally done, I'll have to pull it across that board again to kind of soften up the edges some more, and then it'll be finished, and I'll wrap up the video and get it on YouTube. So this is just a sort of little exclusive for the group. It will be cut out in the main video, so but I'm just going to show y'all. There's the buckskin hanging in there, and I don't know if you can see it because of the smoke, but there's the smoke coming up through the trench. As you can see, it's hanging nice and loose and soft, and I'm gonna wrap this back up to keep as much of my smoke in as I can, and I'll keep you guys posted. So what we have now is, like I said, a tannish brown, pliable, soft, supple piece of buckskin leather. The first time you do this, you're just gonna be ecstatic about it. I know I was. It's just a mind-blowing thing to be able to turn an animal's skin into a usable piece of material. You can talk to hunters if you don't hunt and get your own hides. You can talk to hunters, ask them for their hides and brains. Deer processors, you can ask them. Some of them will let you come and skin the hides yourself and remove the brains yourself. I prefer to do that instead of letting them strip the hide, because that causes problems. But carry you some salt, a couple of trash bags, and some Ziploc bags, and look at your hide once you have it off of the deer. And if it looks, let's say it looks like it's about 6 square feet. Basically, it's a 1 to 2 ratio with the salt. 1 cup for every 2 square feet of hide. And basically, if you had a 6 square foot hide, it'd be 3 cups of salt. You just pour it all over the hide, rub it all into it, coat every square inch of the flesh side of that hide. And if it looks like, you got a spot that looks like it needs a little bit more salt on it, pour a little bit more salt on it. And once you got it good and covered, fold it in half and roll it up, put it in a bag. Put your brain from the deer in a Ziploc bag and put that brain in the hide with it, and however many deer you plan on doing or whatever, each one, put the brain in there with it, and then freeze it. That'll last for, I think, a year or maybe 2 years, frozen like that. In the springtime, get it out and do one hide at a time till you finish each and every one of them. I hope that you've enjoyed the video. I hope that it helps you understand the process of brain tanning and making buckskin. And I challenge you to go out and make your own buckskin the first chance you get to get it hide. I mean, I got one that was roadkill. You see one get killed on the road, stop. If it's legal in your state to pick that roadkill up and utilize it, hey, there you go. Free hide. I do it all the time. This one here was a roadkill. Somebody else found it or saw it, hit, and they stopped and got it and asked me if I wanted to hide, and I was like, yeah, I'd love to have it. I've been wanting to do a video for the group and everything. So, if you have to wait till winter or whatever, then get as many of them up as you think you can handle through the winter, and then come springtime, take one out, work it into buckskin, and once it's done, just keep doing that until you have all of them done. But to me, this is one of the best parts of primitive living is making buckskin and making my own clothes out of buckskin. So anyway, I thank you for watching the video. I ask you to like and share the video. We have a group on Facebook. It has a little over 3,000 members. We have giveaways. If you would like to join, the name of that group is Primitive Life Training. We have a page and a group, so like the page and join the group. Again, that's Primitive Life Training. Also, I'm on Twitter at Roten Skills is my Twitter name. You can follow me on there. That's linked to my Facebook page. Whatever I post on that page gets linked to Twitter. So help me spread the word and come check us out on the group. And hope you enjoyed the video again, and have fun making your piece of great buckskin.